Hello everyone, I hope you're all well. My name is Joe and I'm going to show you how you can improve your speed. This video will be a two-part video. The first part will be alternate picking and the next part will be sweep picking. Without further ado, let's begin. First thing we need to do is make sure we have a metronome. For those of you that don't know, a metronome is that annoying clicking thing that people use in order to help keep time. You can find a lot of great free metronomes online. I will provide a link to one I like to use in the description down below. We measure time in beats per minute, BPM. How many times does a metronome click in 60 seconds? We typically divide our music into 4/4. 4 beats or clicks in a measure, quarter note gets the beat. That means each click represents a quarter note. This is a good time to bring up. Make sure you are comfortable with the different note values and subdivisions. For example, I have my metronome set at 80 beats per minute. Here is what quarter notes sound like at 80. Here is what eighth notes sound like. Here's what 16th notes sound like. Here's what 8th note triplets sound like. And here's what 16th note triplets sound like. This is a really good technical exercise to help build up your speed, work on your alternate picking, and work on your fretting too. It is also a really good warm-up exercise as well. You start at the low E string open, and you play open, 1, 2, 3, open, 1, 2, 3, and you work your way all the way down to the high E string. Once you get here, add on your pinky, and then work backwards. Once you get all the way down here, move your hand up 1 fret, and repeat the whole thing. I like to go all the way up until my pinky reaches the 12th fret, but that's just my personal preference. Start slow. Set your metronome to a tempo that you can play reliably and comfortably at. And start with quarter notes. For example, let's say you start at 80 beats per minute. Practice like that until you can play it reliably without any mistakes multiple times in a row. Once you do that, increase your speed by a little bit, 2 to 5 BPM max. And the reason is, when you do this, you will barely feel a difference in tempo. Therefore, you will stay more relaxed and you can focus on clean picking and fretting and making sure you're in time and you're not slowing down or speeding up. Work your way up to double the speed. So since we started at 80, we will work our way up to 160 beats per minute with quarter notes. You can, of course, push yourself past that. However, double the speed is a good place to start. Once you do that, put your metronome back down to the original tempo and do the same thing again with eighth notes. Same thing. Slowly increase your speed 2 to 5 BPM until you get about double speed. Then, again, drop your metronome back down to the original tempo and do the same thing with 16th notes. Once you're comfortable with all the general subdivisions, you can of course take this a step further and try it with triplets. Triplets for this exercise are especially tricky because it's a 4-note pattern and you're only playing 3 notes in a group. So it almost feels like a 3 against 4. One thing I also want to talk about is the actual picking and fretting technique. If you watched my video on playing with distortion, you will remember that I talked about having an angled pick attack where you put your pick against the string at a 45-degree angle compared to dead on. Not only does it sound cleaner, but it also makes it easier to play fast because you have less resistance against the string. Like I said in that video, you can still get plenty of attack out of it as well. Another thing you want to avoid is unnecessary hand movement. This goes for both your picking and fretting hand. All too often, I'll see students of mine do way too much wrist movement or whole arm movement as well. When I play, it's all about as minimal movement as possible. Because the less movement you're doing, the less time you're wasting. So instead of doing these big, exaggerated movements, I'm just moving my wrist just enough to attack the string. And like before, you can get a lot of attack even with very little movement. The same goes for your fretting hand. All too often, I'll see people have what we call flying fingers, where instead of going like this, they instead go as you can hear. One thing, it's really hard to play things clean and have proper muting if your fingers are constantly flying away from the fretboard. Another thing, just like with picking, there's a lot of wasted time and energy pulling your fingers really far away and putting them back on the fret. Especially if you're actually transitioning from chords or playing scales or a solo, where you could potentially throw yourself off time or out of time from doing unnecessary movement, aside from your technique sounding sloppy. So instead of flying fingers, you want your fingers to rest, even if they're not on the string, right above the string, preferably near the area where we're going to go next. For example, with this exercise we have been doing, I keep my fingers right around the frets that are about to play. If you're doing an actual scale, same things apply. My fingers are right there, ready to go. No unnecessary movement, no unnecessary noise. When you practice this, it is also important to play both clean and with a dirty sound if you're into that kind of thing. And the reason is, clean will let you hear how well your picking is and how cleanly you're playing fast. Because distortion can hide sloppy picking. However, playing with distortion or an overdriven sound can help you see how your attack is and how your muting is with both of your hands. So don't just do one or the other, do both. That way you can hear it from all angles, and you know that you can play it both clean and distorted. Of course, all the practice tips I have mentioned you can apply to all your favorite scale shapes or any new scale shapes that you may be learning or want to learn. I hope you found this video helpful. Please leave a comment if you have any questions or suggestions for a future video, and stay tuned for part 2 where I will talk about sleep picking. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.